Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing another topic, that is city creation. In city creation, basically we are discussing the topic that is galaxy design creation. So this is that design basically. One of the person basically asked the question basically. Currently basically Earth planet is getting which power supply? Currently Earth planet is getting which power supply? So that was actually very dangerous question. One of the person told that that was actually very dangerous question. That was actually very dangerous. So one of the person, the power supply is equal to what basically? That is actually what one of the person basically asked the question actually. Then one of the satellite group told that basically that is a future creation basically. That is a future creation basically. One side is a question and another side basically is an answer basically. So assume that basically this way basically the things basically happen. Assume that this is power supply bundle. Assume that this is power supply bundle. This side it is required data and another side it is given data. One is required data, that is the question basically, and another side is the answer basically. And that answer basically gets from the human body basically. One of the person basically asked the question. Assume that basically I will take one example. Assume that Mumbai city basically is asking the question basically. So this is assume that basically it is Mumbai power supply. This is Mumbai power supply data. This is Mumbai power supply data. So they basically sent the data of power supply to Vadodara city. Assume that basically. Just taking as an example. So they basically passed the power supply. That means they required few data from Vadodara city. Vadodara city basically having around 50 lakh people basically. Just taking as an example. So they send the data to Vadodara city that we want this data. So they basically, one of the person basically asked the question basically what data actually they want here basically. They actually asked the question basically, we want this required data basically. So 50 lakh people basically of the Vadodara city basically is going to give the data basically. And that data will be, assume that basically in Vadodara city some story basically is ongoing. Some story is ongoing. So each and every story data basically they are capturing basically. That also you can see. So one of the person told that basically then what is tutor basically? Why the Elon Musk basically purchased the tutor basically? That is also basically interesting question basically. That is also interesting question basically. They basically asked the question basically what is the story of Vadodara city basically? Mumbai actually asked with the help of the power supply basically. As if that is the towers Tata Power Group basically. They asked the question basically. Hey, what is the story of Vadodara city basically? So that is 50 lakh people basically in Vadodara city. They started giving the stories basically. Stories means their blood cells basically tells the stories basically. So they basically their blood cells basically given the story. After certain days basically from the environment Mumbai Power Company basically that is the Tata Power Group basically taken the data and they told that basically yeah basically this is the story here basically of Vadodara city basically. This is the story of Vadodara city. So one of the person told that basically what actually Earth planet basically story is ongoing. What is the Earth planet story? So I will take one example. Assume that basically there is Asia land. This is Asia. Asia land, America land, Europe land, African land, so see the chain basically. Asia asked America some question. Europe asked some question to asked some data basically you can say. Africa asked Europe. Asia asked Africa. Africa asked America. Europe asked Asia. Like this basically the chain of the required data basically that is ongoing. So one of the person wrote that what actually they are asking here basically. That is actually question basically. That is actually question basically. And what data basically they are gathering basically. What data basically they are gathering basically. What data actually they are gathering basically. That is actually the question basically. So how basically we will proceed this basically. So we will take from few best examples basically. That basically we are going to discuss in next video basically.